Welcome back to Phillips Hot Rod Garage. All right guys, welcome back to part 2 of the body jig build for the Model A Coupe project. Let's get caught up with what we did last week. All right guys, so we're back for part 2 of repurposing this old frame and turning it into a body jig for my Model A project. I want to tell you guys what I really like about this project. I think it's really super cool when you can take a bunch of junk that somebody was hauling off to the scrapper and then you can turn it into something neat and useful without having to spend a whole lot of money. Now this thing's going to come in really handy for bolting my body down and for being able to roll my body around while I'm working on it. And we're going to get it done without having to buy anything but just a set of wheels. That's all I've had to spend money on. So last week I took some scrap 2x2 tubing, made some legs, took some scrap 3/16 plate and made some flanges to bolt the wheels to, welded those flanges onto the legs, welded the cross member back onto the frame because somebody had torched that off. Of course, it was being scrapped. So don't have a lot of time to waste this week, so let's get cranking. It's time to fire up the smoke wrench. All right, so I'm done with that little project. Now I'm of the school of thought that you really don't destroy this stuff unless you just have to. These braces are still usable, so I didn't want to, you know, mess them up too bad. So another thing that I'm thinking is if I ever decide that when I get this body bolted down onto this chassis right here, or this old frame, if I decide that I want to put these back on in order to mock up some fenders and running boards, I never know what project this is going to get used for in the future, so I got them now to where I can knock those rivets out and bolt these back on if I ever need them. So yeah, didn't want to destroy them, so I did good getting those off. So now it's time to move on to the next project, which is probably going to be getting this part out right here. I'm just going to cut it off and destroy it, getting it off, because I don't think it's going to be of much use to anybody anyway. So let's go ahead and get that off. All right, so I got my reciprocating saw for this job. That even cutting? Oh yeah, it is. That must be a solid bar. That's a Diablo blade. It's a pretty good one, but it sure is cutting slow. All right, get at it again. I'm gonna change blades. I think my blade's shot. Yeah, that bar is solid. All right, so I got both of those ends cut off, but before I go any further, I think the best thing to do is go ahead and try to get these legs positioned where they should be and get those fitting in place. I mean, this thing's just kind of sitting up here and shaking around quite a bit, and I'd really hate to be working on this thing and it fall. I mean, you wouldn't want something like this to happen. I mean, if that happened, I'd have to pick it up like this. So before that happens, again, let's go ahead and get these legs to fit. All right, so I really don't know where I want the front legs to be just yet. I got to take some measurements and figure out where I want them to be. But I do know on the back ones, I want the leg to end up being right up against the rear cross member. I think that's the best place for it, which will make it end up right here on the car. Right here in this area somewhere is where the leg will end up coming down. So what I want to do is I want to take a measurement from about right in this area back to here, where this leg is going to end up being placed, and then I want to place the front leg on the jig about the same distance from the firewall back to that leg as I got from the leg to the back of the car here. That way the legs end up being evenly spaced around the jig. I think that'll work. All right, about right in that area is where it's going to end up being. Now I'm gonna set the one on the other side right there. Okay. That's about right. Okay. Let's check them out the bottom. That's pretty good. All right, that'll work good enough just for getting them marked out. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and mark them with a soapstone from under the bottom, and then I'm gonna flip this thing over and cut them out. That ought to do it. All right, so if that leg ends up being 2 5/8 forward of the axle center line, that's gonna give me approximately 21.5 inches. I wanna do the same thing on the front. I wanna go 21.5 inches from the firewall back to the front edge of that leg. That way the legs are equally spaced around the car, and hopefully that'll work out for me. So if I measure 21.5 inches back from the firewall to right here, this is where the front leg would end up being. That's gonna be way too far back. That's gonna put the front leg and the rear leg way too close together. So it's not gonna work. Not gonna work at all. So what I need to do is scratch that idea. Never mind on that. Let's just go ahead and put that leg up here somewhere. That way the table's kind of stable. It's just not gonna work the way I first had planned it. So plan B. All right, so right here is where my front mount is for the cowl. Front cowl mounts here. So as long as I get anywhere behind that front mount, that'll be inside the firewall. That'll be good enough. So I think I'll just put it right there. All right, so that's 69.5. Yep, 69.5 inches. All right, so let's get a mark on the other side. All right, that's it. 69.5. All right, that's perfect. So the thing to do now is get them marked. All right, so I got it all marked. Let me go ahead and take this thing off the legs and flip it over so I can do some cutting. That'll get it. All right, let's get it cut. All right. All right, so I got that cut out, but I got these rivets in the way. Got 2 rivets on each side. Yeah, that right there. I'm not really sure what that's for, but anyway, got to get those rivets out of both sides. All right. Well, there we go. All right, it's time to put the legs back under this thing and see how it's going to work out for me. All right, now I got to get the front two. Well, that wasn't the easiest thing to do by myself, but I got it. All right, so I got them in there, but I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this right here because that's messing me up as far as adjusting the position of my legs. See how that leg's kicked out at the bottom? I really can't get it sitting where I want it as long as that piece is in my way. Talking about this piece. If I just cut that off right there, even with a cross member, get that out of my way, I'll have plenty of adjustment on my legs. All right, guys, all the cutting's done. Legs are in place. So now all we got to do is level some stuff up and get some tack welds put on. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so let's stick a level on this thing. Let's take a look at the bubble here. Pretty good, guys. It's pretty good. That's just about perfect already. But I've also got this little angle finder here. I'm going to show you guys how level my floor is. Can't get any more perfect than that. Now I know there's no such thing as a perfectly level concrete floor, but mine's close enough that I think I can get by without any adjustments. I've never had any adjustment on that one, and no matter where I roll it in the building, it's close enough. Close enough for what I'm doing, so no adjustments on this. We're just gonna level it up good and put some tacks on there. All right, got it all welded now. Let's take a look at it. All right, so it's level across the front. So let's move it to the back and see how level it is. All right, hopefully nothing moved. Hopefully it didn't. Well, it's about as good as I'm gonna be able to get it, guys. Legs are all welded. Not fully, but tacked in place with several tacks on each one. So all I got to do now is weld some braces in, put the wheels on. It'll be ready. Well, except for cutting these rails off. I'm gonna cut them off up in here. Other than that, getting close. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. I think I got the hard part behind me. Getting this thing leveled up, getting the legs tacked in. That was the most critical part of this project. So now that that's done, I'm gonna try to knock this thing on out pretty quick. So in the next video, what I'm gonna do, go ahead and cut the frame rails off to length up here on the front, weld in a couple of braces, finish getting this bar out. Then we're gonna fully weld this thing, everything that needs welding, get it welded up, and then get this thing outside, get it cleaned up, get some paint put on it, get the wheels put on, and then we're gonna put this thing to work. So appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for hanging out all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.